What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about a big collaboration that's rumored between TMNT and Black Ops 6. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, just wanted to remind you that today is the start of the Quad XP event for Black Ops 6, which will last for a couple of days, providing players with extra XP for your player level, weapons, Battle Pass progression, and even Gobble Gum earn rates. Take advantage of that if you're a bit behind with your Season 1 progression. But today is also the start of the free trial for Black Ops 6 on every single platform. For those that want to get some access to just about every Season 1 multiplayer update, you're getting just about every map they just added in recently, a couple of game modes, and even access to both Liberty Falls and even Terminus. That includes standard and directed mode, by the way. You won't get DLC 1 Citadel Day more, but either way, it is great to see a free trial available, considering this Call of Duty is already available on Game Pass. You can also get a $1 Game Pass subscription through PC, not console as of yet, but either way, this game is real accessible to a number of people. With that though, following the launch of Season 1 Reloaded, not too much ended up leaking out, which has been a nice breath of fresh air for Call of Duty. Usually a new season releases and there are so many leaks that will actually pertain to content you won't see for several months, but with Black Ops 6, it was really just a couple of bundles that got force loaded in the game early, as you would also expect. Not too much actual content leaked out, except for a big collaboration that we're going to circle back to, but an ice pick melee weapon did end up getting found, and the model for it was posted early over on Twitter. Can't show you the exact image on screen for obvious copyright reasons, but we've seen an ice pick melee weapon in Call of Duty before, and what do you know, Black Ops 6 offers a dedicated melee slot, so not surprised they were probably going to see at least 1 to 3 new melee weapons every single season. We did get a couple here for Season 1, so I think it's great if they get added in through some small events or something, but we'll get back to some other melee weapons that are pretty significant later on in this video. I posted a video about a day before the launch of Season 1 Reloaded talking about all upcoming crossovers that we know of. Obviously, we have the Squid Games event, which isn't going to be starting until January, but is still a part of Season 1. It is not an event that's starting next season or anything, and we have limited information about how the event is going to work. We know about a couple of operator skins based on the guards, the headmaster, and of course a blueprint, but we know LeBron James also teased what could be a potential father-son duo bundle that could be added into Black Ops 6, and we usually get NBA crossovers during Season 3 of a Call of Duty season, so it may be a while before we see this pack. But we also went over the article from Insider Gaming, which did suggest that we're going to be seeing crossovers with Halo, Doom, and even Gears of War at some point for either Black Ops 6 or a future Call of Duty. It's a pretty serious claim coming from several different insiders out there, so Black Ops 6 may end up having some of the craziest crossovers that we've ever gotten for COD, but keep in mind, with the rumor of a futuristic Black Ops game next year, it's also possible that collabs like Halo or Doom could be saved for that game. But hey, the more the merrier. I'm down for some interesting licensed collaborations, so long as it's not just bundles, but maybe they also add in some unique challenge events and even some LTMs for MP and Warzone. But for those out there that are frustrated with the fact that we have so many crazy skins in Black Ops 6 already, and it's only the first season, I just want to remind you that it was confirmed in a new interview with Treyarch over at Dexerto that these skins aren't going anywhere. So the exact quote is, "Fun always comes first for us. We want to stay grounded in the DNA that makes a Black Ops game unique when it comes to core gameplay, but we also like to break the rules if it's going to maximize fun for players." Now, I know what you're already going to say, it also maximizes revenue for them, which to me is a good thing if it's going to fund all of our post-launch content, right? All the seasonal updates that we get in MP, Warzone, and Zombies are essentially funded by all the revenue that those bundles are making, since we don't pay for season passes or Black Ops passes anymore. But like I also said before, even if cosmetics aren't your thing, it's really easy to argue that Season 1 of Black Ops 6 has offered some of the strongest operator skins, mastercrafts, tracer blueprints out of any first season for any other Call of Duty. Typically, bundles get off to a bit of a slow start and don't get crazy until around Season 3-ish, but I think Treyarch has usually done some of the best cosmetics for the franchise. Now, it doesn't stop there, because I do believe the way that they've handled bundles has always been solid, but what about when it comes to crossovers in Call of Duty? I think Treyarch's really going to knock it out of the park with Black Ops 6, especially considering the 90s focus the game has, which opens up the door to so many different crossovers that can happen. But I want to remind you about the Shredder collaboration that we saw back in Season 2 for MW2, because this is a crossover that came out of nowhere and didn't really contain anything apart from the bundle. It was just the Shredder operator skin, some tracer blueprints, which you can argue fit pretty well with the launch of Ashika Island Island back in that season as well. There wasn't a challenge event, no LTMs in multiplayer, and we got nothing in regards to the actual turtles for that Call of Duty event. So we got Shredder already. He's available through Carry Forward right now just in Warzone, because you can use all your Modern Warfare content in Warzone to this day, but there isn't an ability to actually play as Shredder in Black Ops 6. Maybe though, with what we're about to talk about, there could be an update that allows you to bring that Shredder operator into BO6 multiplayer or zombies so that it could fit alongside what could be a big TMNT crossover. Maybe they can update the Shredder model so that Omni movement works for that character outside of just Warzone. But with the release of the mid-season, the following melee weapons did get discovered, which could either be the biggest coincidence of all time, or it could be suggesting that a crossover is going to be happening with the Ninja Turtles. So data miners found a skateboard, which is a fairly universal item that does sound cool as a melee weapon, by the way, but they also discovered the bow staff, the katanas, the sais, and even the nunchucks. What are the odds that those are the exact weapons that the Ninja Turtles use, right? We know Donatello has the bow staff, we know Michelangelo uses the nunchucks, Raphael has the sais, and Leonardo, of course, uses the katanas. If this isn't a crossover for TMNT, then I don't know what could be, because that is the biggest coincidence I've ever heard of, and I do believe this is a perfectly fitting crossover for Black Ops 6. The 90s were really when the Turtles became the most popular, I'd argue, but the franchise TMNT is still popular to this day, so I would say this is a pretty appropriate collaboration that we could see with Call of Duty. But the data miners out there didn't find any references to any operator skins or voice lines or anything, so either take this with a grain of salt and maybe this crossover isn't going to be happening, or you can think about how this is probably a crossover that isn't going to be happening for quite some time, but the melee weapons at least got added into the game, so maybe the operator skins will also get leaked at some point. Obviously, this wouldn't be a crossover for Season 1 or anything, but probably Season 2 and beyond. Now, I want to remind you that the sais were already available as melee weapons in Black Ops Cold War, and those were a ton of fun to use in both MP and Zombies, so we've seen this melee weapon before. We've also seen katanas in a couple of Call of Duties now. I haven't really seen a bow staff, but I believe nunchucks were also in at least Black Ops 3 or maybe even another COD after that, so these melee weapons aren't out of the ordinary for Call of Duty, but the fact they all got found at once really does seem to suggest that we're going to be seeing a TMNT collaboration. But if you guys are like, wait, what about the operator skins? How could they end up releasing? Well, obviously it's possible we end up getting individual operator bundles for like 1,800 to 2,400 COD points, but I think considering MW3 did the party packs, which came with several different operator skins in one bundle alone, that's probably how they would handle TMNT, but I think Squid Games is going to be a good indicator as to how they end up dropping multiple operator skins for one single collab alone. It won't be the indicator for every crossover we get, but considering you can see several different guard skins with different shaped masks, and you can see the headmaster in the background, it probably means there'll be at least more than one bundle, but probably one big one at the very least. So I would definitely expect several operator skins, maybe that aren't cosplay outfits for existing operators, but the actual turtles with voice lines. That will be received very well, and there's also the possibility that we end up seeing a themed battle pass again. We saw this a couple of times before, where Season 6 of MW2's Haunting was fully themed around Spawn. We saw a bit of a Walking Dead themed battle pass-ish with Season 2 of MW3. Would not be opposed to a TMNT themed battle pass for Black Ops 6, where throughout some of the sectors you get some of the turtles, you get some of the melee weapons. Obviously a bundle would also sell very well for this event, so if they could do both, they'll probably end up doing both as far as how we're going to get some of this cosmetic content. We'd also love to see a challenge event of sorts with a bunch of TMNT themed cosmetics, whether it's a universal camo that's animated, an actual blueprint, and you can obviously envision some Ninja Turtle themed calling cards, emblems, sprays, even loading screens. Would certainly expect all of that if this crossover does happen, but I want to hear your ideas down below in the comments, right? What LTMs could we see for an event like this? Something that probably involves pizza or skateboards. Could really see something fun happening with a TMNT crossover in either multiplayer or even if it's free to play through Warzone. Now, something we don't really see anymore are specific point of interest updates that are tied to a new collaboration. I believe the last time we really saw this was Nakatomi Plaza in Verdansk. That remained permanent until Verdansk got vaulted. And then we also had, I think, a couple of updates around Caldera for the Godzilla event in Vanguard, but that POI update, or the several POI updates we got for that, didn't remain permanent until Caldera ended up also getting shut down. But a cool idea we talked about on the recent podcast was the possibility of the reactor point of interest in Area 99 maybe becoming the Turtles' lair, which would be cool to see permanently in that Resurgence map, unless they end up adding some underground lair or a subway system in Urzikstan, but we know that map is not going to be around for too much longer. But if this event comes out out later in the year. Maybe Verdansk will be live and back in BR at the time, and that'll be the map that sees some type of TMNT POI update. Just something fun that we would hope to see again. But considering Activision did a collab with whoever owns the rights to TMNT before through that Shredder bundle, just has me thinking that the door is probably open for this event to eventually happen. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the TMNT crossover that could allegedly be happening for Black Ops 6? Which melee weapon are you looking forward to the most? And do you believe we're actually going to get full voice operators and not just cosplay outfits? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.